how I would do it. Like, you're just gonna do your voice with like a shitty Southern accent behind it or something. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? I could do voices. And he's like, yeah, okay. And so I think I broke out. Did I do the Kermit or did I
Miss
do
Piggy?
The Miss
Yeah,
Piggy.
you guys
The
were
Miss
doing like
Piggy.
Kermit.
All right, before we get started, let's do the corrections. We owe some people apologies from last episode. Tyler Seaton, not Seton, it's Seaton. Apologize to you, Tyler. And Michael, you had Chesky.
Chesky, I pronounced wrong. And We Are the Union is apparently not from Ann Arbor, Michigan. They're from LA.
That's a much different atmosphere.
Yeah.
Are you happy now? Are you happy now, Liam?
Yeah. Yeah, Liam called us all out.
Listen, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We know where that came from.
We have Chris back. He's got internet again.
Yeah,
It's back.
All right. Well, I guess
I'm excited.
We're gonna get
This
started.
is, I gotta tell you, when we started listening to the songs that you guys sent, I was just like, whoa, this is gonna be fun, because it feels like we started really like opening it up and going into different, realms, and not just straight up. Not that we were just straight punk, but you know what I mean? It feels like we're really starting to branch out with stuff. And I like that. I like to be able to listen to different things and talk about it. So
Well,
today's going to be a good time.
My musical palette's everywhere. It's not just punk.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so we're doing Bandcamp Friday. This is February 2022. We've changed the rules a little bit. If we can't find something on the Bandcamp app or page, but we found something that they're selling on their website or through another distributor, as long as the proceeds goes to the artist, we're gonna promote it. That was the amendment because of me, because I'm an asshole and I was so stuck on this one album that I did not want to let go and pick something else.
I'm glad you stuck to that.
It's a great album.
All right, so that's the change of the rule. This month for February, I decided we are all going to pick a love or anti-love album / single. So
Yep.
our second pick will be something from that realm. And something I've noticed we've kind of forgotten to do when we do our X Factor, we never say why. Let's get back to saying why that's our X Factor. Yeah, all right, so let's get started. Before we do, Chris, tell us about Bandcamp Fridays.
Bandcamp Fridays originated during the Rona. And basically, Bandcamp decided that the first Friday of every month, if you purchased from a band or artist's site on their Bandcamp, almost 100% of the proceeds went to them. Just the fees, the filing fees or whatever it's called, processing fees is minus that. But that was the case. And so what we started doing was doing this episode where we all got together to discuss picks to get people to go out and support these artists. I don't think they're still doing it, are they? Did they end their Bandcamp Friday thing?
I believe they
First
did.
Friday.
They're still doing it.
Oh, are they? Oh, well, cool. Then I'm glad we're still doing this. So yes, that's the whole point.
They put out a message last month that
Nice.
said an update on Bandcamp Fridays, and it just basically said we're still kind of doing this.
Awesome.
So,
That's rad.
All right.
as far as I've
Well, then,
heard, yeah.
there we go. Now we know. And you know what? If listeners didn't know, now you know. So yeah, we're doing this. Go make sure the first Friday of the month to support a lot of the artists we're about to talk about and your favorite artists as well, because the most amount of the proceeds will be going to them on that first Friday. So that's how we do it.
Anybody got any charitable albums, anything like that going on this month?
Punk with a Purpose, benefiting cholangiocarcinoma. We know that Scotty Saint's true dear to his heart. His compilation album he's got out on Bandcamp. So people should go check it out. It's got some great songs, great artists. That's Punk with a Purpose.
Punk Rock Saves Lives Volume 2 is still up for pre-order, as well as I believe there are still vinyl copies of Volume 1 available from their site or the IM Records website.
I unfortunately don't have one this time around. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's all right. So I'm going to piggyback off of what you last month with the Zipper Recording Studio GoFundMe.
Right. Yeah. I
They-
think that's still up.
It is. They also put out on Bandcamp. There is a Zippa benefit compilation. It is fucking heavy, like 40.
Oh, I did see
songs,
that.
42
I
songs.
did see that. Yeah.
I
forgot about
picked it
that.
up. I don't remember. I think it's just name your price on it. I dropped some cash. I said, here you go. Picked up the album, and it's decent. Like, you're gonna listen. This isn't gonna be like one genre of music. There's everything in here, from like roots rock to punk to pop rock.
Nice.
There's some country on there. This was just a collection of people who recorded there over the last 40 years or whatever that he had it before the fire. And these people got together, donated songs. Most of the songs on this were recorded in that studio.
I did see that. I got to pick that up. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I head over to Bandcamp, search. It's Zippa, ZIPPA benefit compilation. The artist name they put donate and then here HEAR. So search for either two of those things and you will find it on there. We'll make sure we have a link in the show notes to I don't know, everybody's show. Maybe they'll put a link to it or something.
Yeah, I think it's ZIPPAH.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. ZIPPA.
Yeah.
Did I miss the H?
Yeah.
ZIPPAH.
But we'll put the link. We'll have the link.
Yeah, we'll have the link for sure. Jeff, what about you? Want to do the benefit for Bueno plug we always do?
Benefit for Bueno. Yeah, it's a compilation record put out for our pal Will Good from the Old Edison, who was injured pretty severely in a car accident last spring, and so that compilation is still available on Bandcamp and raises money for him for his recovery journey and associated things. So
Cool.
that's been up for a while as well.
I listened to that.
What is that? Just
so
Bueno?
much.
I think it's just buenobenefit.bandcamp.com. I believe.
So, yeah.
That's got all mostly Boston-based artists and people who are friends with him and people who were friends with the Old Edison and stuff. And that's a heavy-duty comp too. It's got a lot of really great talent on it. So a lot of people. Most of it's all people covering Old Edison songs in like their own way and doing different types of takes on all their music. So it's pretty cool.
All right, we ready to go then? All right, let's get going.
do it.
So my first pick, my local pick, is Carissa Johnson, Blue Hour. Before I listened to this album, I learned about Carissa. Two Roses, I believe, is her other album that came out in, I think, 2016, 2017 area. And I got it through the Get Punk Record Club. That was my introduction to her. And I'm like, wow, this is really good. And I kind of followed, what she had on, what she put out there over the years. And I got to tell you, Blue Hour, it's nothing like her other stuff. Her writing is still there. Like the writing that she does is still there. But this is like synth rock at its finest. I fucking loved it. I loved everything about this album. This is why I pushed so hard. I'm like, can we just change the name? You guys want to? I mean, we're gonna change. I was willing to change the name to this Bandcamp Friday thing because I wanted this album on, because it's not on Bandcamp. You have to go
Apparently
through her,
not.
Yeah, you have to go through her website and pre-order the album to get this album.
Nice.
But you can hear it. You can hear it anywhere. I hate saying it. Listen to it and then go and pick it up, because this was, I don't know, man, this shit blew me away. Like I said, I've always enjoyed her stuff. This just, I don't know, this was really good for like this. A lot of problems I hear with like synth, like music that uses a lot of synth, it kind of sounds manufactured. Yeah, so this doesn't. This just sounds like her, and then they threw they threw this different element into it. She had one or two songs with guests on it singing as well. It was everything about this album just blew me away the moment I heard it. I want to say, like, I had my list ready right away. And I think this was the last one I had listened to that someone for the best of episode that the Struggling Artist did, someone on the Instagram page of it said, hey, you should check out Carissa Johnson's new album, Blue Hour. And I was like, you know what? I should, because I haven't heard it yet. And I like her stuff. And then I went back and like replied again. And I was like, this is so good. Thank you for recommending it to me. Yeah. And then like the end of that album too, she kind of went back to her, like, to the roots of what she did. It was a little more like singer-songwriter. I don't want to say like just acoustic, but like, there was no synth rock involved in that last song. And I don't know, everything about it. The album, I think, was the songs were put in a really good order. I never really thought about how much that affects me until shit like Spotify just has random, and they just take an album and fucking randomize it for you. But yeah, no, track ordering to me is super important now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it always has been. I just never realized it. Yeah, no, the Carissa Johnson Blue Hour, go check it out. You are not going to be disappointed.
So you're right about it not being like her other stuff, because after I listened to this, I was like, okay, I got to hear what else there is. And it's completely different. Well, not completely, but it's more acoustic driven. It's more, it's not as synthy. So this is what I wrote when I was listening. Unexpected. And I say unexpected because not that I don't expect it from you, Trev, because I know you like synth music and you've got kind of a soft spot in your heart for that 80s, dancey sound. Again, like I said before we started recording, I really like that we're branching out into different things, because typically we were bringing a lot of punk, a lot of heavier stuff. You know what I mean? So that's why I said unexpected. Like, we're opening your pick with this.
Yeah, whatever.
Right?
I've never sent you a bad song a day in my life.
I didn't say it's unexpected because it was good. I'm just saying I wasn't expecting this. I was waiting for
you think you're better than us.
I was waiting for that guitar to come in, that street punk to come out. So I put neon soaked synth dance pop with just enough distorted guitars to nudge this closer to 80s alternative rock. Yet there's elements of 2010s indie electronica throughout. Then, as if to prove she's not a one-trick pony on this album, the last song sheds all the electronic synth and we're treated to a solid head-bobbing acoustic number. I was left wanting more. Great pick. And I was, dude. That's like I said, when it was done, I was like, okay, I got to hear her other albums now. Yeah. And it wasn't like this. So you're right. There is this kind of graduation into, like, she's like, let's try this realm and see what happens with the way I write songs and sing. But what a voice too. She has such it's not like too high or like that whispery that you usually hear with electronic music, but it's also wasn't too deep. I don't know. It was just perfect. It was just right in there. And that might be the engineering too. I mean, I thought the sound engineering on that song was great too, or that album's great.
I didn't listen to her other stuff, and now I really want to, because I didn't have anything to reference that to. So I wrote like kind of rad, like gritty punk and roll almost with synth pop and sci-fi trancey vibes. That's what I wrote down. And then I wrote like shiny toy guns, metric, silver sun pickups, like you said, like that 2010 like indie like synthy indie like explosion that happened back then. It definitely reminded me of that a lot, but I didn't know that her other stuff like didn't sound like that. But I was just thinking about it now, and I was like, wait a minute, why does it all of a sudden sound familiar? And I just like went on her website, and I was correct that she did that video after the pandemic, like right at the beginning of the pandemic, where she's just skateboarding through Boston and somebody's following her with a drone. And it's just like the streets are like all empty. Like the whole city's like a ghost town. They filmed it like right like in April after the pandemic happened. And it's on our website. Go afterwards. You should go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's a rad video. And I was pretty sure that was her. I was like, Carissa Johnson. That sounds super familiar. And I was like, was that video? And I just went and looked it up, and it was, which I didn't even remember either. So I guess I guess all my like brain blanks are happening for this episode. But yeah, no, I thought this was a great pick. I really liked the record. It was really fun to listen to, and so her voice is incredible. I love the sound on it.
You're unfamiliar with her stuff then?
Her other stuff I was, yeah, except for that music video. I remember seeing that music video because it kind of went viral a little bit, like at least locally, after they released it. So it was, yeah.
I'm the same as Jeff. I'd never heard her before, and I actually didn't have time to look at the rest of her stuff. But this album was synthy pop punk, synthy power punk, pop. Man, I am fucking up my words today. The thing that surprised me about her, though, besides her voice, her absolutely gorgeous voice, was when I looked on Spotify, you can see like the monthly listeners. There were like 550. I don't know what other people are listening to, because this sounds better than anything I hear on the radio, and it could fit on any of those stations. So I don't know who programs that shit, but they need to start doing a better job. They need to start like watching this show.
I think we're just going to start our own radio station where we each have our own hours and we can spin whatever we want.
Yeah. I can
2-hour blocks. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
No, but dude, yeah, seriously, this is a great start. Great pick. I'm definitely picking this vinyl up. I'm pre-ordering it.
Yeah. I very much thought that this should be wildly more popular.
I don't understand how that shit works with Spotify. Like, with listeners and right, and then how many? I don't know. I don't quite get it. I don't know what to believe and what not to believe.
She also has a rad logo. I love her logo. She has this little like heart with the icon on your car for the gas tank, which is like that inside of a heart that's like a little reminiscent of Alkaline Trio, but not really. And it's got like, I don't know, it's cool.
Oh, is
nice.
it? Yeah.
That's like her logo on all her merch.
All right, so my second pick is a band called Kid Gulliver. The album is called Kismet. Now, again, this was like the love or anti-love, song or album. I went with the whole album because there's definitely like elements of anti-love and love sprinkled throughout this whole thing. Never heard they're a Boston-based band. It was really weird. Again, we'll talk about Spotify real quick, right? Spotify does, hey, if you like this, you'll like this. This was a suggestion based off of Jesse Ahern.
Really?
Yeah, like
really.
You want to talk about two different ends of the spectrum, right?
Wait, something recommended it based on you listening to Jesse Ahern, or Jesse Ahern recommended it to you?
No. From me listening to Jesse Ahern on Spotify,
okay, gotcha. Okay.
It recommended this album, and I was like,
I think it's shocking both ways, regardless.
So I was like, well, let's see what this is, and I put it on, and again, I heard this before I picked Carissa's album. Carissa Johnson's album was my last pick for this thing. So I was like, let's see what this is, and I click on it because I'm always looking to listen to new things. Luckily, my palette is so fucking broad that this was right up my alley too, So this was, I don't know what power pop is, but it's this. Like, this came on and I'm like, this must be what power pop is, like power pop punk or whatever. Like, it's like the tail end of new wave. I don't know. That's just what came to my mind. This album is full of fucking catchy hooks. Like, I found myself singing along to the fucking choruses of these after like my first listen. I'm like, it was just engraved in my brain. You know what I mean? If I had to be like, it kind of sounds like this meets this, I would be like B-52's like surf rock meets Blondie.
Nice.
That's the best way I can fucking, if I had to like describe it to somebody, you know what I mean? The guitar in this is really killer. It's just, I don't know. It was a fun album. Like I said, the hooks were fucking super catchy in this album. I found myself, like I said, singing along to a power pop album, fucking flying down 495 one day. I wish it was in the warm out so the windows were open but people could hear me. I was a big fan of it. I was a big fan of it. So I think Stupid Little Girl was like their catchiest tune on there, but the whole thing, I really did. I enjoyed the whole thing.
I put, again, unexpected, because I was like, really? This is the second pick, so still no street punk coming yet, huh? I put indie pop rock, very upbeat and dancey. Opening with a Bee Gees cover feels right for their sound. There's also flavors of ska with some 70s punk mixed with 60s surf spy guitar. And when I say spy guitar, you know what I mean? Like that 60s movies.
What the fuck are you
Yeah. I love the
exactly
guitar. I love the guitar work on this album. Kismet is a fun record. My standout track was Lila Dreams. I thought that was a cool
That's
tune.
a good song. Yeah, that's a good song.
Dude.
Like I said, the whole thing was just woof. It was like hit after like it
was an experience.
If this was like a radio band, like if this was, Michael, we were talking about it. Like if it was like if radio was like it was in the 80s again, like this, I feel like this whole album would have been on the radio.
Yeah, everywhere.
Thought this was really cool too, and I wrote up a whole bunch of similar things like surfy retro rock vibes, shades of ska, like ska punk, old school pop punk stuff. One thing I wrote is the vocals on this, the vocals of this band remind me a little bit of something similar to Magnetic Fields. This sort of like not quite falsetto, but like purposely sort of elevated, like a little bit tongue-in-cheek like way of singing on it that I found. Like it's almost like it sounds a little bit humorous and a little bit like not taking itself too seriously, but also I wrote like dark sarcastic lyrics, like super fun lyrics, like on that Stupid Little Girl track, which is like about being in love with a serial killer in prison, like, and being a prison pen pal or whatever. So yeah, I thought it was really cool. And also I'm going to take the term spy guitar and put that in my vault for future use too. That's a great term.
There you go.
Dude,
I knew exactly what you meant when you said it.
What's spy guitar?
Like when you watch spy movies in the 60s and it's that down.
Like think of like the song Secret
yeah.
Agent Man.
Yeah.
Like that main guitar riff on that song.
Every Bond movie ever.
Yeah, basically. I know what you mean about the vocals too. It's almost has this like kitschy thing to it, like it's trying to be, not trying like over trying, but it's like this, like it's trying to be quirky in the way it sings. She's singing for sure.
I'm having never seen, like, I don't know who, like, I don't know what the makeup of this band is as far as the members or like who is who or anything like that. This is the first I've heard of them. So I couldn't even actually tell like if it's male singers, female singers, if they're harmonizing, like I wasn't actually sure, but I thought that was kind of cool. Like it just sounds it reminded me a little bit of the vocal. If you listen to the Magnetic Fields, the musical style of the Magnetic Fields is not really the same, but that vocals, just like the vocal tone and like kind of cadence like reminded me of them a little bit.
So I had power pop with heavy rock and roll influences. There was that pop, but you could definitely hear, like Chris mentioned, the guitar. I think what I wanted to say was that after listening to your first pick and your second pick, I started to get a little concerned that we were losing you, Trev.
What do you mean? What do you mean losing me?
Like, where's Trev hanging out, man?
I hang out everywhere. Actually, I don't. I hang out in my living room. That's about
These two
nice
picks
living room.
were very
Thank
fun
you.
for me because I tend to get a little like tunnel hearing, and I'll start listening to only punk and hardcore or only folk music. So it's nice to break out into stuff I don't normally hear.
All right, so my last pick, coming back around, back to the I don't know, the right side. I don't even know.
Yeah, you brought it back home with that last
I
one.
brought it back home. So Danny Carney Chainsaw Symphony put out a collection of demos and like unreleased songs called Bagels. There's no rhyme or reason to this album, from what I gathered. It's just a collection.
Just alphabetic.
Yeah,
It's literally alphabetical.
That's why-
It's in
Is
order.
it really?
Yeah, it starts from the number and then A, B, C, D, E, all the way down. The
Oh.
first letters are all
That's-
alphabetical.
That's why it's
Oh.
so long too. Because like, yeah, I mean, I wrote that. I was like, this album is 21 songs. Like that's impressive for an album. It's crazy, but this makes more sense now that it was sort of a collection of things.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm a huge fan of that, right? I'm a huge fan of finding a band or in like hearing their demos and their unreleased shit. I don't think there's enough of that anymore. Maybe there is online, but like, do you remember going to like the music store? They would have like, it would be like you'd find
The import section where they'd have like
Yeah.
demos and
Yeah.
B-sides and rarities.
Yeah. That was like my home when I would go to a record store. I'd go to those. I'd just try to find bands that I knew that I loved. And I never heard this song. So him putting this out is awesome. He put it's I think he's got a cassette of it too. It's an hour flat, 60 minutes flat. Now, if you know Danny Carney's music, he is like Blizzard of 82 spins at 45. You know what I mean? So it's not
Mhm.
very long because that's just when I talked to him, he said that like he's like, yeah, 2 minutes is like long for a song. So I mean, this is 21 songs, right? 21 songs. I didn't know they were in alphabetical order. That makes sense to me now. Like I knew there was something he did to put these in this order. I should have just asked him. You know what I mean?
I read his info too, and he said he went through like 150 tracks to pick these ones out.
He said he Dutch
Jeez.
ovened himself with his own music. Yeah. So again, I've said 1,000 times before, Danny Carney can do no wrong. I was more than happy to get a collection of demos and unreleased tracks from him.
Nice. I put I'm already a fan of Danny Carney after Trev turned me on to Blizzard of 82. His music is like an eclectic gathering of underground alternative pop, noise punk bands from the 60s, 80s, and 90s, and they're all sitting around a living room, taking turns, taking the lead throughout each song, and it all works. And because this is a collection of demos and unreleased tracks spanning 2 decades, we get a whole range of songs that rock and roll, swing and swagger, drive and dance from beginning to end. My favorite of Trev's picks. This was my favorite pick of all 3.
Well,
It's
thank you.
awesome. It's freaking awesome.
Where's he from?
So he's originally from Lowell.
Okay. So he's okay.
He had a band, Roll the Tanks, and
That sounds familiar.
I think they started out here, and then he went to LA, got the band to move out there. Then they got signed to Epitaph, and then I don't know anything else other than he went on to his solo stuff. It's really, I mean, it's just, I don't know. The Blizzard of 82 was my album of the year last year. So
I gotta
I was
check
just
that one
listening
out.
to it last night.
It's
so
such a
good.
strong album.
Yeah. So
Yeah, this was cool though. I wrote like laid back indie punk rock and roll vibes. I wrote like beach boardwalk walking music.
There you go. Yeah, I hear it.
Gritty vintage like lo-fi vibes. Yeah, it like reminded me of like, I don't know, like hanging out at like the Jersey Shore or something, like that kind of Springsteen-y, like Gaslight Anthem-y. Like his slap back on his vocals is like very, very Gaslight Anthem-y, Bruce Springsteen-y kind of vibes with the the engineering on the record, and but it had more of like a punk grit to it, which was cool. And yeah, I really liked it too. I got to check out the other one.
The funny thing you just said about like the boardwalk kind of Jersey Shore thing, the last sentence when he like on the Bandcamp where he kind of talks about what this is and everything, it says it will likely be the catalyst to you falling in love several times this summer.
Yeah, it says probably, yeah.
Nice.
Right,
that old cliche, movie cliche, but yeah, no, I thought it was great.
You're fine. I think I was just gonna say that I find it extremely impressive that like Danny had this much shit just in the tank that was this good that he hadn't released. Like, it just speaks volumes about his strengths as a songwriter and a musician. And yeah, everything he's done that I've heard is amazing. So definitely check it out.
I'm up. I wrote notes for my own shit. I wrote notes for everybody's shit this time.
Me too.
Nice.
I'm proud of myself.
I've got a lot to say. I've got a lot to make up for last.
I don't really have a lot of notes for my own stuff, but yeah. All right. So my local pick this month was Matt Charrette's record Back East. I had not listened to it in a while myself. He put it out a couple of years back. Matt's a cool guy. He's obviously like pretty well known and liked in kind of Boston's local like music, punk rock, punk folk scene. He's also a local barber in town, so I usually see him every few weeks. He cuts my hair, but he's a rad dude. Yeah, he's a barber.
Awesome, dude.
He's a barber. He owns his own barbershop in Brighton, which is really cool. Yeah, it's just great, like kind of punk tinged Americana rock and roll. It's like super gritty and a little bit dark. It's an emotional album. You know, he writes a lot about a lot of like pretty heavy duty stuff, I think, on there. And it's also just beautifully engineered, like just the guitar tones and the pedal steel. And he has, I don't know everybody that he plays with, so his band is called the Truer Sound, Matt Charrette and the Truer Sound, and they play, you know, local shows and stuff like that from time to time. But I don't know all the other members, but I know that they're all extremely talented musicians. Every time he's gone into like make a record, he really, I mean, that's like his really only full length. He had an EP before that was called like Haircuts and Pub Rock, which was kind of cool. And yeah, everything that he's put out I've been super always impressed with, and like just it's always been like really, really beautifully engineered and mixed, and he's just a great dude. So that was my local pick this time around.
This was my favorite out of everybody's picks. I really like the Americana / folk with the, like you said, the lap steel. Amazing songwriting. He reminds me a lot of that local guy I sent you one time, Trev, Andrew Ellis from here in Toledo. He's not actually on Bandcamp, so I can't plug him. I love that style of music, and this one is solid. Like, I can't get enough of this one. I found myself going back to this after listening to the other albums that we like. I'd keep throwing this album in between it. Yeah, this is such a great pick for me.
I put right from the start, I love the harmonica, steel pedal guitar, and what sounds like a stand-up bass. This is country fried Americana rock. Charrette, is that how you say his name? Charrette's voice sounds like he gargles a shot of whiskey before each song. They're all at once strong and rich and vulnerable, depending on the song, what the song calls for. My standout track is Outcast. It's a little darker and moodier. Overall, this is a really, really good album, and I underlined really twice. I can see myself loving it more and more with each subsequent listen. I wasn't expecting that, you know, like to hear that kind of countryish sound come out immediately, and I was just like, whoa, okay. And so I sat and listened, and by the second song, I was like, I'm in. I'm loving it. The dude's got such a great voice. And you're right. The engineering on this album is just like a masterclass. It sounds so good. So good. Yeah, I love it.
I said it last time. I'm going to say it again. People who just say, well, I don't like country. They're not digging. They're not digging deep.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Right.
This is country mixed with roots rock and roll all day long. I really enjoyed it. I heard like elements of like the Black Crows and the Wallflowers too, which are very separate bands, but I heard them both like in this album. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Outcast. That was my probably standout song on the album. And I'm a sucker for harmonica and that twangy guitar. Now, this was just him, right? This wasn't him and his band.
Well, the record's not put out under the name like Matt Charrette and the Truer Sound. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not familiar with all the members of his band, so I don't know if or who of them played on this record, or who was actually playing in the studio with him.
I did find on Spotify it's both, right? There's a Matt Charrette, then there's a Matt Charrette.
There might be two different profiles. I'm not sure.
So but that happens sometimes too. If because Spotify's weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know if this was just him or if this was him with them. I did check out some other stuff, and I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoy what he's doing.
He would be a great guest to have on sometime, Trev, too. I mean, I don't know how big he is on like doing podcasts, but I think he's like always down to talk about music. So
yeah,
I mean, when you work as a barber professionally, like you are also part therapist, I think, by default. So, you know, you're always talking to people, and he would be a great guest. Yeah, it's an awesome record. I don't know exactly who's playing on it besides him, or how many of those people are playing with him now,
right
or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I dug it. I did. I like I said, I checked out some of his other stuff. Solid. And you know what's weird? After you made that pick, he keeps popping up my algorithms for like people you may know, and it's so strange how that works.
They're listening, man.
Yeah,
it's all the things are listening to us. It's terrifying.
I hope they're not listening around 2 a.m. For their sake and mine, I guess.
I kind of hope they are listening at 2 a.m.
Yeah, so we're doing the second one, right? The anti-love song. So this one comes with a little bit of an asterisk. This is OC45, and it's the track "This Bottle's Got Your Name on It," which was off of their record Happy Accidents. They are, I should probably mention, sort of a band that is in indefinite hiatus right now. They would normally have been probably one of my first and most obvious like local picks. Even when we first started doing this, I've been like extremely close friends with them for over 10 years at this point, or around 10 years. My brother played drums in this band for a good chunk of their existence. I met them before he was in the band, and then he met them and through me, and then he wound up in the band. So they're a band that I'm very close with. And I do wish they were still around, because I think they were, you know, amazing. Like when they're doing their thing, they put on fantastic live shows. I toured with them several times. I sold merch for them, mixed their sound, like did all kinds of stuff. So I love this band a lot. And this was definitely one of my favorite tracks off this record. Derek is crooning on this one, sort of, you know, to an ex-lover. And it's just it's a fantastic, like kind of dark, sarcastic, and also like super serious, like pop punk song. So it's also one of the tracks on the record. Like not all the tracks on the record kind of have that sound. Like they're a punk band and partially a pop punk band, but this song stood out on that record as like a very melodic sort of pop punky song, whereas a lot of the other tracks on the record are heavier, a little bit heavier. And so it kind of is a standout on its own. It wasn't officially released as a single, but it was what my mind went to, and I was thinking about good like anti-love songs, or breakup songs or whatever. So
I like that I took notes and then haven't referred to them at all yet. I just remembered I have them. I really dug the drums on this song, and the lyrics hit me pretty hard. Like I kind of really dug into everybody's like love or anti-love picks for some reason. But I liked it lyrically. Like sometimes shit just doesn't work out, and it's not really anybody's fault, you know. That's just the way it goes. People change, and then we have to deal with it afterwards. The rest of the album's fucking fantastic too, so I figured while I was listening I would do that. But yeah, the drums on this song, I don't know why the drums on this song stood out to me.
Well, that's little brother Ken.
Hey, there you go.
He was super proud of it. So they did it, you know.
His drums stick out a lot. He's an amazing drummer.
I put fun, fast driving melodic punk rock. It brings me back to early 2010s. The song kind of gave me a Debt Neglector vibe. I dig it. I put the drumming is outstanding. I don't know what it is. I focus on drumming, and I have a few friends who've said that's a guitarist thing. Like a lot of guitarists wish they were drummers. And I was like, I do. I wish I could drum, because I listen to drumming on songs. And if you have a drummer that is able to kind of not just hold the rhythm and drive the song, but if they can do little signature things that make it their sound or their kind of style. I love that. And I also love drummers that can change up the feel of the drums. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like you could have like a skate punk kind of rhythm going, and then all of a sudden, you know, flip it over to maybe a little bit of a ska bounce, and then right back. Like if they can do that masterfully, I love it. And so I was the same as Mike. I was focused on the drums on this song. And yeah, I ended up listening to the rest of it going like, this is awesome. I'm going to be following this band because, well, I guess they're on hiatus. You said, yeah. So, yeah, but I'll listen to some of this stuff that I've never heard before. I'll go back and listen because I really enjoyed it.
Sure.
I'm paraphrasing this, but I've got exactly what I wanted. Lonely and brokenhearted. That was a line in that song, and it fucking just, it just like stuck a knife in me. I was like, wow, that's me all day. Where these guys focus on the drums, the storytelling of this song had me. I absolutely loved it. And it's heartbreak punk is my favorite style of punk.
Nice.
Yeah, it really is. The heartbreak stuff has always been, because like when I talked to, like, even when I was younger, I would talk to people about punk music and they were like, oh, it's just anger and fighting. I'm like, nah, man, this is like, you gotta listen. Like there's a lot of
heart and soul.
Yeah, there's a lot of heart and soul to this thing. Like
three chords and the truth.
Yeah. So no, this song got me. It hit me hard. I liked it a lot. Now OC45, I feel like I just saw a band with one of them in it.
Yeah, so I mean they're still all doing stuff. Well, obviously my brother is now playing in Coffin Salesman and KCUF, and then but Derek, who is like was one of the two principal songwriters, or most of the main principal songwriter in the band, is now playing in a band called Grip Bite.
Okay,
based out of Providence. Yeah, they live down in Providence now, him and his girlfriend. So and then also he's working on a solo project that should be coming out soon, that I had the pleasure of filming some of their recording process and stuff like that. So hopefully we're gonna like release some little videos and stuff like that. But yeah, he's got a solo project coming up too. So like they're all, and Adam, also the other like singer and guitar player in the band, he is also doing, Adam Femino, he does solo stuff too. So he's got some solo stuff recorded, and he's been playing some shows solo acoustic. And then Nick, the bass player, and Derek have played together on some of Derek's like solo stuff that's coming up. So yeah, they're all still around, and they're all like still doing stuff, which is great. Just like OC45 in that like configuration or lineup or whatever, like is just not a thing right now, unfortunately. But the stuff that they did put out is incredible, and will always be like probably one of the first like Boston punk bands that I sort of became part of like their family early on, when I like moved back to Boston and got like, you know, back into like a lot of the music scene in Boston after I had been at college and stuff. So
they I saw Grip like perform at the Midway. Never heard him before. I didn't know anybody in the band, and I fucking enjoyed them. Like I did.
Derek also plays with C.E. Skidmore as well. C.E. Skidmore in the Damn Fine Band. So he's also in that band too.
Nice. Before you get to your X Factor, I forgot to give my reason why after saying we need to give our reasons why for my X Factor. So I picked Bagels because Danny Carney can do no wrong in my eyes. So, all right. To your X Factor.
My X Factor was Jesse Labor Day. He is I guess my why, and I think this is a funny trend that I've done so far, is I feel like I've picked a lot of Canadian bands on this show so far. So I guess I'm just going to stick with that trend as like being my why, but it's more of a, he's an artist I hadn't listened to in a while. I had a CD of his that I think was like an older EP from several years back that I picked up at Pooza, but he's a Pooza Fest regular, and somebody that I started seeing play at Pooza Fest a few years in a row, and he would oftentimes play acoustic at the at one of the venues has like a breakfast thing in the morning that if you're not too hungover that you can get up early enough to go to. They have like food that's included in your I think it's included in your Pooza ticket or whatever, so you can go get some food there in the morning and start drinking early and like get yourself back on the wagon like early in the morning. And they always have like acoustic acts playing in the corner, and so he played Guillaume from Lost Love has played that a bunch, and this other guy Jesse's played that a bunch. And so I had an EP of his, and I was like, oh, he'd be a good X Factor pick. And I went back, and his last full-length original record that he put out is this record, Grief, Intensity, Friendship, which was like, that's a great name for a record. And I actually had not heard it before us doing this. So I started to dive back into it, and it's just great, like acoustic folk punk stuff that has kind of a little bit emo, like heartbreak and heartfelt lyrics and stuff like that too. He reminds me a little bit of like Sam Russo, who I'm a huge fan of. And yeah, I hadn't heard him in a while, so it was fun to dive back into him as an artist too. Super nice guy. Also, he's from Western Canada, I believe, Vancouver, I think, or somewhere.
Who's
over there.
not nice from Canada?
Yeah, isn't that a thing?
It's a stereotype, but yeah. Yeah.
I didn't get to this one until this morning because I had overlooked it. And whereas I was a little worried about Trev after his picks, this not worried, just like this one, I was like, man, Jeff is just picking shit that I love. I love the acoustic folk punk singer-songwriter. I wrote that it reminded me a lot of Frank Turner, and maybe that was just because I was groggy in the morning, but I fucking love Frank Turner too. So this was, I'm definitely going to spend the rest of the day digging into this dude because that sounded fucking horrible. But spend the rest of the day digging into this dude. But yeah, his music. Yeah. I really wish I'd have caught this one earlier. I don't know how it got overlooked, but solid pick. I'm glad you threw this one on there.
So this is so for the first two tracks, I really struggled with like how I wanted to, like what this even felt like to me. But then by the third song, I put this is familiar and new all at once. There's an emo folk post-punk sound pervading throughout. This feels like an alternate universe's evolution of Dashboard Confessional. Also, is it just me, or is there a musical vibe to the vocals? Like the delivery, the way he sings, a lot of these songs feels like they could be on stage on Broadway. And by the third song, like I said, I'm bought in. The songs are great. They're upbeat, driving, rocking, and rolling. Very, very nice. But yeah, he's got kind of like this musical style delivery with the way he sings, if that makes sense. Like he could be like on a musical on Broadway.
It's very unique. I've never really thought of that specifically before, but now that you say it, yeah, he has a delivery that's unique and very like
theater, right? Like a musical.
That's a good way of that's a good way of describing it.
But not like over the top, like, because when you think about like musicals and people,
it's not operatic,
right? It's
not operatic, but it's got a like a cadence to it, I guess.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, I dig it, man. Sure. Nice.
Very nice. The first thing I wrote was Jeff brings the Canada goodness all the time. So that is your thing, man. And every band you've brought to the table from Canada, I've absolutely loved. So I said these guys are solid because he's got a band behind him, right? So it was solid music. He shows like he has, and maybe this plays into what you just said, Chris. He gives you glimpses of the range of his voice at different times.
Yeah.
Like, at one point he had like this like bluesy woo woo kind of quiver range in his voice. And I was like, where did that come from? I was definitely like fixated on his voice the entire listen through this album. Cause, I think he's a tremendous singer, and it's weird because like at certain points I'm like, all right, yeah, that's just like how, a punk rock kid would sing. And then other points, like he just has different ranges. And I don't know, man, I was almost obsessed with it. Like I heard it I had to listen to the album again to dig into it. It was definitely a solid pick. The song, The Dirt, I think is the name of the song. That was my standout on that one.
Nice.
So definitely I like the folkiness to it. You know, you give me any acoustic guitar, I'm just gonna watch and listen. And
You'd like him live.
yeah,
Like you'd like watching him live. He's
I mean, I
always put on, like, a
liked
really
him this
great
way.
show.
I
Yeah.
liked it this way. I hope you don't think I didn't like it.
No, totally.
Oh, all right, yeah. So no, I was a fan. I was definitely a fan of it. I'm gonna check out more of his stuff. How do you say his last name?
Like the holiday in September.
Yeah,
Labor Day.
Like Labor Day. Okay.
Labor Day. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
All right. Cool. So yeah, no, I was into it. Thanks for bringing more Canadian musicians to the table.
Sweet.
Gotta be a
2
trend
solid
now, I guess.
rounds.
Taking all our American jobs.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Michael, your picks are up next, for Christ's sake.
Okay, my local pick is almost from Canada too. Detroit, Michigan. It is Dear Darkness, and I picked their self-titled. This is an all-female band, again from Detroit, and I don't know. I thought it was like a summer thing, but I've really been into this like female-fronted garage rock, like poppy with a surf rock vibe, but heavily distorted everywhere. I just really dug this album, and I found it randomly because I liked the cover art of one of their other albums, but I liked the music on this album better. But they have another EP called Santa Ana that's really good. But yeah, I think I mentioned this during one of Chris's picks last week. Like, some music just gives me that. I like movies a lot too, and I love Tarantino, and his movies always have this like musical vibe. And sometimes I'll hear a band and be like, that sounds like it should be in a Tarantino movie. And that's what I got with this band.
I got I wrote down 80s glam metal meets 80s riot girl. Like, it was a complete mix of that. Her voice is like Bruce Dickinson range. It was weird. It did that thing that Bruce does in Iron Maiden. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? No.
Yeah. It can get way up there with that kind of a falsetto-y delivery.
Yeah. It was good. It was something different. I liked it. And I'm gonna, I think I listened to the other EP that was on there. But yeah, no, I was into it.
There's like two Flintstone girls sitting on a gorilla's lap, and for some reason I was like, I want to listen to that.
I put this feels like 90s grunge riot girl punk right out of the Pacific Northwest. The guitars are heavy, acid-soaked distortion. These ladies' vocals have a sort of new wave tinge to the delivery. Though the tempo is upbeat and driving, the sound is opposite. There's a doom element to the sneering and chugging of Dear Darkness. I totally dig this. Very sweet first pick. Yeah, I was feeling this, man. I was like, I like this. These ladies are coming
We were all on the same page with I wrote spooky riot girl punk. Love the guitar tones and the fuzz. Like, it's like real gritty, like just gnarly, like fuzz on all their tracks. Raw, energetic. I would love to see them live. They were fantastic. But the West Coast riot girl punk thing is strong with them, and it's awesome.
When
so
Iron Maiden,
super fun to listen to.
An Iron Maiden riot girl band.
also to mention the cover art too. I noticed that as well. I thought their cover art was really cool. That stuck out to me too on their whole Bandcamp page. All their cover art is these like real bright like drawings that it's like real kind of abstract stuff. It's cool.
The band's description is like really funny too. Like, I think they'd just be cool people to talk to. I think it was something like, it sounds like a fight with your old man, but you still love him a lot. Or it sounds like a drunken fight with your old man, but you still love him a lot. I was like, yeah, they seem pretty rad.
Nice.
So my second pick was I titled these all Valentine picks because it's fucking February and that shit's happening. Chad Hates George from Houston, Texas. I love folk punk, and Chad Hates George is definitely that. The song is Diet Coke and Cigarettes. I am a sucker for love songs, and like I don't know why. It never works out, but I like the idea of it. Just in case anybody thought this was going to be inspirational. No, that shit's a lie. That's just something they tell you when you're a fucking kid. Give you hope. But when I do love songs, they tend to be like this. Just I don't like the those big romantic love songs where they make a bunch of promises about shit that's never going to happen. I just like the idea of being happy where you are with somebody, even if it is just going to the store for Diet Coke and cigarettes and being together. So yeah, it's stripped down acoustic folk punk love song about just being happy, being with each other. And where was it? Oh yeah, that cop is a punk ass bitch. I have no clue why it was even thrown in at the end of the song, but apparently he is.
I don't know if I'm going to say, I don't know how to put this. I'm very picky with folk punk that's not from this region. I think we're spoiled with the folk punk that's around here. Jeff, maybe you can either agree or disagree with me, but I dug these guys. I dug this song. I want to listen to more. And I try to branch out. I try to do like the on Bandcamp. I'm like, all right, folk punk. Let's see what it's out there. And I'm always like, yeah, it's run of the mill. This wasn't run of the mill. This was up there. I enjoyed it. I want to hear more. I want to hear more folk punk from different areas. Cause like I said, I feel like we're really, we have so much, like we have so much goodness of it here that I think I'm a snob when it comes to it now.
And speaking to that, Trev, these guys are from Houston, so that is also where Days and Days and Escape from the Zoo is. So I don't know if like they possibly share some band members because they're on Flail as well. So I don't know if there's some like if this is just that sound of Houston folk punk or
yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of folk punk and it all has a very regional sound, it seems like.
I put straight up folk punk. The vocals bring no effects to mind. Just the sound, the way it sounded. I'm also feeling Apes of the State vibes, the way they kind of play in the delivery. There's great lyrics, catchy rhythms and melodies, and I liked the one take feel. The fact that it sounds like he went into the studio, sat down, they hit record, and he just went. And there wasn't this, let's go back and do this again. It just feels like a straight one take, and so it gives it a live feel, like you're in the same room at the same time. And I just put and I underlined it 3 times. I really like this. I want to check out more from. Do they only have this one album, or is there more from these guys?
There was another one, but I don't know if it was an EP on Bandcamp.
Gotcha.
But I feel like I heard that they were working with somebody on a full length, but that could just be some shit I made up in my head. I'm like hopeful. I'm trying to manifest it.
I wrote down that the lyrics reminded me a little bit of like a Get Dead or Mischief Brew also too. And I just wrote down that it was like super funny track. And I'd like to explore this band more because I didn't listen to anything else that was up there, and but I definitely dug it. So yeah, I thought it was cool. I agree with the sort of like funny, just like lighthearted take on like the love song, and like, yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Sweet.
And then my X Factor is a band from Seoul, South Korea, 18 Fevers. I found this band because their bass player messages me every once in a while. But I really dig this song.
Yeah,
I love the girl who sings in the band, Christmas. She has this gritty, almost, I want to say like Brody Dahl from the Distillers, kind of raspy affect to her voice. Like like Aretha Franklin and Tom Waits had a baby or something. I don't know, like, because it can be beautiful, but then there's that dark grit, and she wrote all the lyrics. So I always find it interesting how like a non-native speaker translates to English, you know, so we can understand it. And then the drumming in the song I really enjoyed because there was a loose feel to it. Like it wasn't super tight, overproduced drumming. And the only person I could think of to equate it to was the way Joey Jordison from Slipknot drummed like in the early days. Just that kind of loose feel, like I'm going for it and this is what's happening. But yeah, I dig this track. It's the only one they have.
I liked it. I liked this. I listened to it a bunch of times too. And I got like that scratchy grunge sound from them with like Nirvana-esque like vocals. Not saying that they sound like she sounds like Kurt Cobain, but like in the like the way he would sing. She kind of had that nailed down. I think they're solid. I'm interested in hearing more from them. You know what? They reminded me of a band from Greece called the Barbed Wire Girls or Barbed Wire Dolls. I'm sorry, Barbed Wire Dolls. Anyone familiar with them?
Mm-mm.
They're a band out of Greece. They tour. I mean, they were touring nonstop. Before Lemmy passed away, Lemmy Kilmister, he signed these guys. They're really fucking good, and they have that grunge sound too, like almost like they reminded me of Nirvana as well. Not in the set, like I said, I don't think they sound alike, but just that the vibe and like the scratchiness of the grunge that they play, that part of it. This was a good pick. This was 18 Fevers. This was a good song. This was a good song. I can't wait to hear more from them, to hear what else they got in the tank.
Oh, I didn't say why it was my X factor, but that is it. I think I did kind of. I just like when bands who aren't native speakers do music that is targeted toward an English speaking audience and pull it off well. It doesn't sound forced or fake.
Yeah, immediately when I heard her start singing, you could tell, you know, that there was it wasn't. You could tell there was an accent to it. There was a kind of this, I don't want to say it wasn't broken English, but there was this lilt in the way she was speaking. And I was just like, wait, where is this band from? And when I saw it was South Korea, I was just like, oh, this is insane. This is great. I wrote that it starts out with this dancey alternative rock feel, and it quickly revs up to morph into a blistering, driving post-grunge face punch. The lead singer's vocals start out melodic and unassuming until she flips a switch, and all of a sudden she's a female Kurt Cobain. I love it because I loved it. I just thought I'm going to definitely follow these. This is the only thing they put out so far.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear the album.
Agree. I definitely want to hear more. I wrote definitely want to hear more, literally. But yeah, just like gritty, angry, fuzzy, angry punk, pop punk kind of stuff. I just I don't have any descriptors that are any more eloquent than Chris's already have been, but I too was on board with this is the only track I want to hear, like a whole record for sure.
They are working on a record, I'm told, but who knows when that'll be.
Cool. That's awesome.
All right, I guess I'm up. My picks. I'm gonna say this. I didn't realize like all of our picks were supposed to go along the love and anti-love theme. So like this first album. Oh, okay, just the one, right?
Yeah, it was just
the one middle. Oh, okay. All right. So my first one, my local, is a band called Soul Butchers, and the album's called Landfall. I'll tell you, I never heard of these guys before. I actually found them just searching through Bandcamp and using the location feature to see what I could find for this episode. And so when I found these guys, you know, as soon as I hit play, I started listening. Right away, what struck me about this band is how seamlessly they stitch and layer multiple genres of music onto their sound. There's obvious hints of acid rock, Led Zeppelin-esque grooves, but there's also a little bit of blues, a little bit of country, and a little bit of garage rock and roll. I said it's a heavy grooving album. If you like Black Sabbath or the White Stripes or Rob Zombie without the horror, this is probably your jam. And it is. It's heavy. It's just got that kind of that groove to it that I don't know. I want to see these guys live. Like when I finished listening, I was like, wait, these guys are here. They're in Buffalo. Like this doesn't sound like Buffalo music. So I'm definitely into it, and I'm going to be checking them out.
So I dug this band. I dug this album. It's weird because isn't Iron Priest from Buffalo as well?
Yeah.
And when I talk about
Stone Priest.
I'm sorry, Stone Priest. Yeah, Stone Priest. And I'm not like hijacking this to talk about them, but like I'm a huge Sabbath guy. I never realized that until like later in my years, that like, because I've always listened to them. I guess I'm like I'm not gonna call myself a connoisseur, but like where Stone Priest sounds like the early days of Black Sabbath, Soul Butchers sounds like the sophomore era of Black Sabbath, when they got into that Roadhouse rock and roll blues kind of era.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just distorted and heavy Roadhouse rock and roll, and the vocals, Ministry. Do you remember Ministry?
Oh, I see that. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah,
that was the first. Like, I stopped and went and listened to a Ministry album.
Yeah, I
was like, it was. I mean, it was Ministry meets sophomore Black Sabbath all day long. I dug it. I want to hear more from them. I'd like to. I might want to see these guys live as well.
Have them on your show, dude.
It's
have them on your show. Talk to them.
It's a tough thing, right? So like, Black Sabbath started it all with heavy metal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, a lot of bands have tried over the years to mimic them, and they can't. There's like meme after meme about it. It's hilarious, but like, these guys did a good job, like kind of really dig. And I'm not saying that's their influence, but I hear that like that the sophomore era of Black Sabbath is that Roadhouse rock and roll bluesy stuff, and that's what these guys got. And then again with the Ministry vocals, it fucking nailed it, dude. They nailed it.
So who goes next now?
I don't know.
Yes, it's you.
This order.
I'm sorry, I had to interrupt. I was so
pumped
for this song, I had to interrupt. So.
Yeah, no, first thing I wrote was moto riding music.
Yep.
Definitely, yeah, the like kind of almost like muddy alt rock. And then I also put, there was like some kind of like 90s industrial vibes in there too, and a couple of their vocal lines reminded me a little bit of the vocalist from Interpol, that band Interpol. Something about his, like, the tone of his voice in there. But I also wrote that they would be super fun live. They'd be a great band to play a bill here with Cruel Miracle, which is that band that I had on my show that they did like an instrumental concept album about riding motorcycles. That's all like kind of like rock and roll, like American rock and roll motorcycle music. This would be a good band bill matchup with them, I think. But yeah, they were cool. I dug it.
I wrote that they should start their name with the Soul Butchers, because I got like I have a reason though. Okay. I got that 2010 era garage rock with the bluesy tinge, like the White Stripes, Jack White, and who else? There were a couple, the Black Keys, all those bands that had the at the beginning of their name. And I was like, they would fit right in with that. And I love that style of music. So I really dug this.
Sweet. All right. My anti-love song. Again, I kind of followed Jeff's lead on this. This wasn't a single per se. It's on a collection that he's got out, and then it's all on obviously the album that he put it out. But this comes from Amigo The Devil, and the song is called Perfect Wife. So Amigo The Devil was my introduction to Americana doom folk. I'd never heard of doom folk before, and I was just like on one of these radio things that, channels on Spotify, and this came up, and I was just like, what is this? Like, who is this dude? And I saw his name. I'm like, all right, the name Amigo The Devil made me go, what else is there? So I started listening to his stuff, and I absolutely love it. But this song felt right in terms of the anti-love. The song has banjo, stand-up bass, piano, and what sounds like a melodica. Did you guys hear that? It totally, for me, sounded like, if you know what a melodica is, it's like the little keyboard, but you blow into it to play it.
I'd have to go back and listen to it again, but I would totally believe you.
Dude, I was just like, whoa. I was like, is that a melodica? That's so dope. I said, it's also got tambourine, stomps, claps, and lyrics so dark you'd think they were from the plot of an R.E.S. Western film. This is one of my favorite songs by Amigo the Devil, right after Husband. So this song, basically the anti-love of it is that he's talking about his wife, right? And it sounds sweet and pretty, and this kind of like banjo picking song, and even the melody, like just the way he sings, it just sounds nice and pretty. But then all of a sudden his lyrics are talking about like his wife is bugging him all the time, so he just starts like beating her up and torturing her and like pulling her tongue out and doing all these things, and you're just like, what in the hell's going on in this song? And then, like I said, it's my second next to the song Husband. And if you ever heard that, it's that same thing. It's got a very kind of soft, pretty intro to it. Then you listen to the lyrics, and he's basically telling this woman he wants to propose to her, except, he's got to make sure her husband's dead. And that's all he's wishing for. So I love ever since I heard his stuff, I'm like, I love this doom folk, this kind of dark folk punk feel. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was sold. I love this guy.
So when Chris and I first met and we like exchanged numbers, this was like one of the first songs he ever sent me. He's like, "You ever heard of this?" And I was like, "What the fuck's wrong with this dude?" And I was like, "Here, listen to Coffin Salesman. It's better." Here's my thing. I think Amigo the Devil has beautiful sounding music. I love the instrumentals in this song. I fucking loathe the story. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. I'm not shitting on him. It's art and I get it. It hits too close to home, I guess, for me.
Yeah.
And I can't get into that. I understand it's hopefully it's satire.
Right.
But the music is absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You're absolutely right on that. I just can't get behind the story and the lyrics for personal reasons. And
Gotcha.
that's okay. It's okay. So like, it's not for me. I will never say like, I don't hate the guy. I just don't particularly like his writing, for I guess personal reasons / beliefs or whatever.
Gotcha.
And again, we're extremely spoiled in this region when it comes to doom folk, I think. So no, but other than that, dude, like I've told you about it before. I've already like I think the instruments used, and does he do them all himself, or does he have
to be honest, I'm not sure. I'm sure he has a band studio at least.
I think he's talented. I just can't get into that to the storytelling of it.
Gotcha.
And again, that's for my own,
teach their own.
Yeah, that's for my own life experiences or whatever. So but yeah, that was my whole take on it. Again, I do want to say again, like the instrumentals of it is fucking absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I thought the sound was really, really cool. It was really interesting sound. And I wrote dark, twisted, and perfect because it is like when I first started listening to it, I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those like, like kind of horror, like, doom folk themed type songs. That's like kind of abstract, but then you listen to it and then the whole thing of the song is like he's like literally like writing about being like horrendously abusive to someone, but then she fucking shoots him. Right. She fucking kills him at the end, which is like how it's supposed to be type of thing, and so I did find some like gratification in that at the end. I was like, okay, I like this like twisted dark story, but like she gets the revenge she deserves at the end. And I would imagine a song called like you just said, like I imagine there's kind of a theme here. Reminded me maybe a little bit of lyrically reminded me a little bit of the tune. There's a tune by a band called the Steel Drivers that was called If It Hadn't Been for Love. And it's all about how he kills his wife because he's like a jealous lover, essentially. But he's writing the song from being in prison for the rest of his life, and it's this like sort of dark anti-love ballad type of thing, reverse love ballad type of thing, if you will. And it reminded me maybe a touch of thematically of that song. But I thought, I did like I would definitely be down to listen to some more of his stuff. I think every pick that we had on this month's episode that everything brought to the table, I felt like I want to take a dive into individually more. That was
there
very
is an
recurring.
album. There is an album of his that I was pretty good with. Isn't it like the cover of it's like, I think it's just a picture of him and it's like a black background.
Yeah.
The B-sides album.
Maybe. Yeah. I think I got into that one a little bit, but like, yeah, this one was just too much for me.
Gotcha.
I like that we can all agree that we probably shouldn't be cutting our lovers' fingers off.
Yeah.
I love Amigo the Devil. Actually, I told Chris that I had nearly picked one of his other songs as my love song. Definitely not this one, but I love that he does the whole thing with that banjo. And I don't know if you've watched the video. If you're disturbed by the song, do not watch the video.
Oh Jesus, I've not seen it. No.
But yeah, I love the song just because there is that underlying like story that he's doing these things because he loves her, and or at least this is the way I took it. Like he loves her and didn't want to be without her. So he was trying to make it work in a way that was very dark and twisted. Yeah, again, not approving it at all. But
we hope it's metaphorical.
Yes. And then at the end, she does get, her revenge and puts a shotgun shell in his chest. So, yeah.
There you go. All right, my X Factor, guys. So the reason this was an X Factor was because, again, one of these things I like to do is surf through Bandcamp, and sometimes it's just like the cover of, the cover will make me want to look and see what it is. And that's what this one was. It was this kind of chill, like I would, if an image was lo-fi, this is kind of a lo-fi look to the cover. So I wanted to listen to it. And as soon as I hit it, man, I was just like, wait, where are we going? What is this? And I thought, I'm picking this because my X Factor reasoning is that this is probably the most different of anything we've ever brought to the table. I don't think we've ever gone this hard into electronica. So I wrote down that as soon as I heard this, I was hooked. I felt like I was listening to the soundtrack of a post-neon futuristic Ridley Scott epic composed by Nine Inch Nails and Angels and Airwaves and Moby and Orbital. I was at such a loss as to what genre-bending box I could categorize it in, that I had to look at how they described themselves on Bandcamp. And these were what stood out to me: doom pop, experimental, space rock, shoegaze soundscapes. And that's what this album is. It's an auditory cinematic soundscape. This is electronic, right? It's electronica. There's drum machines working here. They've got all kinds of effects happening with guitars and vocals, but it's their soundscapes. Like I don't know how else to say it. They don't feel like your typical songs, and it's a journey. This is something like you listen to from the beginning to the end. You don't hit shuffle, right? Like you were saying, Trev, when you listen to albums, sometimes the way they're put together, there's a reasoning for it. And back in the day before, when they did, after they did singles, and it seems like we've moved back into the singles world, but back in the day when we were putting out LPs, that was the art, the artist put it out a certain way so you'd get what they were trying to tell you for the whole package. And I feel like this is one of those albums, like you ride it out from beginning to end, and it's just, I don't know, it blew me away. I became a fan immediately, and I'm getting everything that they put out.
Maybe I need to listen to it again. I had issues with it. Maybe, I don't know. It could have been the way it was coming through my speakers, but I felt like the instrumentals were like way too loud for the auto-tune like vocals. It seemed it was like overpowering. You know what I mean? Like usually when you hear vocals, you hear it up front. It kind of sounded like it was just mixed. Maybe that's what they were going for. I put down, like, if you take Nine Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy, and then Enigma. Do you remember Enigma?
Oh yeah, dude.
and mix that together. This is what you're gonna have. I thought the beats were really tight. Like there were really good beats like throughout this album. Nothing stood out though. It just seemed nothing stood out to me. It kind of seemed like but I'm not into this music world, into that, like, you know what I mean? I mean, Enigma is probably the last thing that I could mention that's close to this, and that's a long time ago. it just kind of felt like a and maybe I shouldn't think. I thought of like a soundtrack as well, so like a score, but it kind of felt run of the mill to me. But no, I thought the beats were really good though. It just everything, like I liked the songs that didn't have vocals in them better, because it was bothering me that the music seemed louder than the vocals coming through. Because they all didn't have vocals, you know what I mean? Not all the
Right,
songs
yeah.
had vocals in them. So that's just my take on it. I don't know shit about electronica.
My favorite thing now is to bring things that make Trev uncomfortable to talk about because he doesn't like it.
No, I'm not uncomfortable talking about it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, and I feel bad. Like I look into, like when I used to do movie reviews and shit. Like I don't shit on things. Like I'm bringing an honest, like this is what I heard kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? So like I'm not gonna sugarcoat things either. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I like this, when I'm like thinking to myself, what the fuck's wrong with this vocals, you know? That's just me. I mean, who the fuck am I? I'm just a guy on a podcast. But no, I totally, like, and you had said something about it being like to a movie, like a score to a movie too. That works. And
Like Blade Runner.
If I was to
That's what it
go
felt
back,
like.
yeah,
Dude.
yeah, if I was to go back and listen to it again, I would
Headphones. Use headphones next time.
Think so?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would probably listen to it and like listen to how it's tracked, like how each song goes into the next song. You know what I mean? To see how that overall, because like you can listen to instrumentals and still get a story out of it, you know. So, but yeah, no, that was my take on it. I'm sorry it wasn't like my number one pick of the whole day, but you know,
It's all good, dude.
This episode's making me feel so much better, because I feel like I pretty much used to think, or mostly think, that I'm terrible at this and I'm terrible at reviewing things. But I feel like this has been so encouraging, because we're so, like, so this is what I wrote. Sounds like the soundtrack to a 90s cyber thriller that takes place in the underground world of a European city.
Yes.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm
dude.
not as like far off as I thought I was from like we're very much on the same vibes.
Yeah.
Which is I wrote trancey vibes. I really want to get really high and listen to this.
Maybe
Turn
that's
all the
why it
lights,
struck
like,
me so hard immediately, dude.
turn
I
all
was
the
just
lights
like,
off.
hell yeah.
And get really high. I don't know if you smoke, Trev, but I mean, maybe you should do that next time. Just, you know, get high and listen to it. And all the lights down. That's what it begs.
I get too high. I'm like, I just
It reminded me of also something that could be a sound, like it reminded me of like something that would be playing during a scene where someone is like has just been given like a psychedelic drug or like acid or something, and is walking through like a nightclub in some underground European city, like, and they're
Neon Tokyo,
they're like an undercover agent trying to like solve some crime or something, but they have to like infiltrate this underground world, and so they're just like walking through this like nightclub where like neon lights and strobe lights are flashing, and they're just like completely on another dimension. It maybe like you were mentioning other bands, like I was gonna throw in maybe Massive Attack.
Oh yeah,
I could compare them to in some ways. Like Massive Attack had a different electronic industrial vibe kind of thing, but yeah, some similarities maybe there to that band. That's one that comes to mind for that genre and era. So, but yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Nice.
So I had a similar reaction, I think, to Trev. Like I put it on at work and I was like, no, and turned it off. Wait, it goes further.
That's awesome.
But then I like came home to my garage where the speakers are set up so that I'm kind of like enveloped in music when I'm playing music out here. And the word that sprang to mind for me was theatrical, but again, like a soundtrack, or it was like an experience. Like if you sat down to enjoy it as maybe not, I don't know how to explain. I was going to say maybe not as like pleasure music, but it was a pleasurable experience, but you you weren't going to just listen to it one track at a time. You wanted to sit down and be in it. It's not something I could listen to all the time, but like for that time, it was incredible. I liked the way the vocals were mixed in there because I thought it lended to that experience more. You know, when you're in a movie theater and there's the guy whispering, and then all of a sudden 15,000 things explode. It kind of gave me those vibes.
I could be wrong.
I liked it. No, I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
No, you are.
That was just the way I got it in my head. Like,
I like the way you said that though, because I feel like you're right, Mike. Like this isn't something that you're just like listening to every day or like taking to the gym. This is like when you're in the mood for it, you have to get ready to immerse yourself and kind of experience it. And so like you guys see, I have these little Christmas lights on in here. So this is an extra bedroom. I've got like a little bed over here. My record player's over here. And so when I was finding tracks, I was sitting in the dark, just kind of lit up by the Christmas lights. And so when I came across this, I was like, whoa, this is good. And I may have smoked a little.
Well, I was going to say, and like Jeff said, while I can't promote it, I can definitely see like this being something you would listen to high as fuck.
This is like this generation's Pink Floyd or something.
Right.
What?
No, I'm just talking about like you sit down, you get stoned, and you just like lose yourself in the soundscape.
You get
compare that.
But
not
dude, like
musically, but like vibe wise. Yes.
Yeah, dude. Next time you try it, if you do try it, try with the headphones on. Like just have all the sounds in your head. See if it mixes out well.
I'll get right on it.
Right as soon as we're done recording.
That's not happening.
He's like, fuck that album. I'll never listen.
No, I don't. But I don't say that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know you don't.
Look, man, these guys put a lot of work into their shit. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and I didn't pick it apart by any means. You know.
Yeah.
I just it did not resonate with me. You know?
All good.
But it could be because I'm fucking high strung and fucking, you know, and I don't smoke and I don't listen to shit with Christmas lights on and Spider-Man dolls. You know what I mean? I don't do that. So
Spider-Man dolls.
Burn.
Come on, dude.
You don't listen to music in a toy store?
Maybe you should. Maybe you should.
You're right.
You don't exclusively podcast from a comic book shop.
Right? I'm
Chris
jealous.
wins.
Yeah,
Chris wins at everything. He wins at
everything.
Reviews and his background.
Oh, jeez.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a closet. It's literally a closet.
It's
I just
so great.
took the doors off the closet and did that.
Oh, it looks awesome, dude. It looks awesome. I wish I could
Fantastic.
set this up where my records are right behind me or something, but it doesn't.
That's what I tried to do, but then I'm in front of them the whole time anyway. So
yeah. So, but is that
fellas, this for me was awesome. This was
impressive.
an awesome episode.
So where last month I was super excited that we all kind of like were like in sync with one another. I like the fact that we were on complete opposite ends with this one.
Yeah, me too. I really did.
They were both equal. It's cool. It's cool to see how that stuff goes. I think everything like I brought to the table was solid.
Yeah, there was some really good stuff this month.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like some stuff that I'm going to continue listening to.
Yeah. So
I also already got some ideas for next month too.
Awesome.
Based on some stuff we did this time around.
We're gonna tease a little bit and say we have something special for next month for Bandcamp Friday episode. And Michael will be picking our second tier pick for themed.
Since Easter's in March, it's going to be what's your favorite Pat the Bunny song and why? No, I'm joking.
How
I don't even know if Easter's in March.
You have to find a band or a song with rabbit or bunny in it.
Mardi Gras.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Mardi Gras theme. I almost said flavored Mardi Gras flavored music. Mardi Gras themed music.
There you go.
Flavored music.
Yeah, so I think next. I think we found our groove with this whole thing, and I thoroughly enjoy. Like, I look forward to these. I look forward to getting the albums from everybody, and I look forward to listening to them about it. But I really do. I really enjoy the collaboration part that we do. I think we all bring different, like, even though like sometimes we nail it when we all say Nirvana for that one for 18 Fevers,
Yeah.
or you know, but I also like I'm able to say like, hey, you know, the Amigo the Devil, like that
It's
song,
not your thing. Yeah.
it's you know, it's a beautiful song. It's just I couldn't get on board with the writing. So I mean, that's the beauty of this, right? So it's not like some podcasts out there that just shit on things,
Yeah.
you know, because at the end of the day, everyone, like, people put a lot of fucking work into making music, you know, making what they're doing. So if I had to be sure that with me coming at Amigo the Devil the way I did, that I had to like explain what I do like about it, you know, and then what I do like I said, there is an album of his that I like. But like, yeah, some of it just a little too much for me for personal reasons, and that's okay. That is okay. So before we go, I'm going to plug something real quick so it goes on everybody's podcast, because I'm an asshole like that.
No, do it.
So this comes out beginning of February, so it already started. If you head to getpunk.com, you'll be able to pre-order Michael Caine and the Morning After's newest album. It comes out in April. You pre-order it. You can pre-order it starting February 1st. And their new LP, it is phenomenal. You guys, everyone's going to enjoy it. I'm telling you, like, this band, everything they do, the next thing they do is it's just better and better and better. The new album's called Broke But Not Broken. I'm sorry. The new album's called Broke But Not Broken. You can pre-order it now at getpunk.com.
And you can go buy the singles on Bandcamp.
Yes, and buy the singles on Bandcamp. So I'm hoping to do a lot of help with them with getting the pre-orders out there, you know. So
The Morning Afters rip.
They
They're
do.
great.
For
Yeah.
sure, dude.
Fantastic.
and that's how I met Jeff,
like
was
that.
because of Michael Caine.
Oh, nice.
I said, Mike,
Is that really?
Kinda. Well, you posted or he reposted something of a video you took of him at the Lowell, at a Lowell like acoustic show or something.
Oh,
And I said,
Okay.
who's
Cool.
this gentleman? And then I saw Dirty Decibels podcast and I listened to it and I was like, Mike, I want to talk to this guy, but I think he's going to hate me because our podcasts are similar. And listen, I fucking freak out. Like, you think I'm like,
Trevor, your podcast is light years
Dude,
better than mine.
dude,
so
you
don't
think
even.
you think I'm like Smooth Criminal when I get these guests on, but I'm always like, hey, Mike, yeah, you think this Jeff guy is going to like hate my guts and tell me to fuck off because of my podcast? And he was like, what? No, he's awesome. I'm like, I really like his podcast, but it sounds like mine. And I think, I don't know. I just don't want him to hate me because of that. That's how it all started, Jeff. Michael
So much
Caine.
better than mine.
No, stop it. It's not. It is not. So, but all right, that's it for this month, guys. Everyone shout out your podcast.
Go, Jeff.
Dirty Decibels, dirtydecibelscast.com, anchor.fm/Dirty Decibels, Apple and Spotify.
Coming back
Nice.
soon.
Yes.
Punk as Folk on YouTube. But I mean, you're better off just following me on Instagram because I don't do anything. Actually, no, that's not true. I have some stuff lined up and I'm working on another project. So follow me on Instagram for updates on that.
And what's your Instagram?
Punk A Folk, because some other asshole stole Punk as Folk. So follow me on Instagram so I can get verified and I'll just fucking steal theirs. I don't know how any of that works. I don't know if that's the thing you can do.
Nice. And you can find me on a bunch of different podcasts on the network at bicbp-radio.com. Just go look for me. I have too many to name.
And I am Trev Allen, the Struggling Artist. You can find me at the Struggling Artist Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, or you could go to podcasttsa.buzzsprout.com to get to my directory. Some big things in the works coming out, and we're all going to be part of it, I hope.
Let's do it.
Woot woot.
All right. Until next time. See ya.
Later, dicks.